2 weeks. I'm over it, Jay.
Over it already?
Well, I'm bored of it.
Bored of it. Come on. Hang on in there, son. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
I've actually enjoyed an international break. 3.4 games. 3.4 days between games for the last 120 days for United.
You weren't out?
No, sorry, on a tweet.
That's what it must be right.
It's a global pandemic that has finally made Steve appreciate international football outside of a
it's not about international football. It's about the break. Because as we saw last night, international football's fucking turd.
What was the score last night?
Who cares?
Is it San Marino, wasn't it?
It was 5-0.
5-0?
Yeah. And then the most interesting news about San Marino that came out this morning was that Flo Rida's going to represent them in the Eurovision Song Contest.
What?
I'm not even joking. If you look on the news on Flo Rida, he's going to represent, or might be representing San Marino in the Eurovision Song Contest.
Does he even know about this? Has anyone told him? Hey.
I'm not even joking. It's relevant in San Marino-ish.
Well,
ways.
we wish Flo Rida good luck with your Eurovision Song Contest entry.
Yeah.
Not feeling that one.
Not feeling that
Flo
one at
Rida,
all.
Eurovision.
We don't need the chat cam. I've got my notes.
He's got his notes here.
Chat here. So, hi everybody in the chat. Like the video. Well, coming out of your house. Shout
Really?
abuse for your letterbox. Abuse. Yeah, we had a conversation in the group last night, didn't we?
Yes, we did. And if you watch the live, you'll see me. You'll see there's a moment about 47 minutes into the live where a little bit of my soul goes from my body as the 90th comment or message in this chat comes back as I've got it on my laptop, comparing the population of San Marino to that of Salford or whatever it was. Urmston. Steve. See, saved it there. Elucidate people as to what you're on about, the conversation in the chat.
Well, there was conversations.
If I've got to go through this, they have.
Yeah, there was conversations clearly going on. I'm going to say across the world. What we might mean is like across a couple of people who do YouTube football. Although it was also on Twitter.
Right, okay.
How shit are actually San Marino, and what level of the English football pyramid would they lie within? Cam said, do you think Paddock would beat them? And I went, well, that's a good question. To which everyone assumed I was meaning yes, which I never once said.
Right, okay.
But what I did say is, what level are they? Now, my sort of guesstimation in the early part of the 3-hour-long sort of investigation that we ended up having was, I thought it was about FC United level, like Northern Premier level. Not Conference North, but about there.
To put it into context, the chat notification numbers were in triple figures at some point.
Yeah.
When I looked at it.
That seems reasonable.
Ronaldo wouldn't answer the question. That was doing my head in. Because he was just going, it's international football.
I saw that. I saw a couple of them.
And I was going, what level do you think they are, though? Because, like, you just saying that it's international football. It's international football, yes. But it's such a bad level of international football. I think I saw something that they've only got 100 eligible players to pick from.
Right,
it's
okay.
not a good level.
It isn't. So, I mean, I don't know where I stand with that then, because you've got 100 eligible players. How are those players like they've got 100 professionals, or they've just got 100 people that are fit enough to play football?
They have maybe half a dozen professionals.
So
the rest of them are amateur.
Right,
but then you take the argument of that Iceland, when I think it was in Iceland beat England, they
the
lifted out
Euros.
the list of like the goalkeeper was actually a dentist as well, and it's like
Iceland's only a small country.
yeah, exactly.
Like
It's some of that sense. It's like sometimes it's like because I think San Marino they had that list out as well, where they're like this guy's a farmer.
Yeah.
Not in the joking sense, he was actually a farmer. Like
he literally farms.
yeah.
And someone in the comments here, and this is always the thing. Like I say, you can't judge them based on how they do versus England. And me and Cam was talking about this on the way to the shoot this morning. They're set up every day they come to work as San Marino international football team. It's perfecting being tight at the back. They're not thinking about patterns and triangles and third man runs to open up a defence. They're thinking, how do we just not concede 10 today?
Yeah.
Because that happens.
Yeah, of course it does, yeah.
And if that was the case, why didn't England beat them 20-0? Because England didn't go for it last night, for one.
Right, okay.
England played easy and probably enjoyed it and probably worked on some patterns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If England truly wanted to just... I mean, Jesse Lingard had 10 shots. Like, should we start there with that? Like, they could have easily been 20-0.
I did see a little bit of it last night before we were filming, and I saw that Jesse did seem to be trying quite hard to get a goal.
Yeah. So Ross has mentioned the goalkeeper for San Marino plays in the third tier of Italian football. No, he doesn't know, because he might be employed by a club in Serie C he doesn't play for them. He's
Yeah.
played precisely 0 games for them.
Right,
So,
okay.
like, when you're trying to look at what level these guys are, but if you go through FC United's team
Yeah.
and see where they take players from and move players onto,
Yeah.
and then you look at just some other teams in and around that level,
Yeah.
it is very San Marino-ish.
Do you think everyone in San Marino's team can do keepy uppies to a good standard?
I bet it's 2 that can't.
Do you reckon?
I mean, it's questionable
Do you reckon
whether everyone
they
in
could
Real
do like
Madrid's
4?
team can
One
do
who's
it.
like, should have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then 2 just like, I'm not doing that.
I'm not. Yeah, one of them ones. That's not for me because they can't. Yeah, it's an interesting one, and I guess we'll never know unless you're gonna set up a friendly.
We got Mitts looking for their email address. But I think it would sound like a piss take, wouldn't it?
Well, because it would be.
But would it though? Because it's a genuine
Yes.
thing. Is like it would. Right. So what we found is
This is like
there's a guy that runs the database, if you like, called 21st Club, and 21st Club are literally like they sort of set the exchange rate between. What is the Hungarian Premier League level?
Yeah.
Well, it's about here.
Yeah.
They literally rank divisions and leagues and therefore players and their abilities. And I'll get the exact lineup from what Omar, who runs it, is. He's got a great podcast as well, which is definitely worth checking out. And he said the following. So Jack Pitbrook, who works at Athletic, was just going on a bit of a tweet thing saying, this doesn't even look as competitive as Spurs versus Marine. I think they're lower than Marine, was what he was sort of getting at.
Okay.
So he goes, our models go down to step 2. Now, step 2 is Conference North.
Right.
Step 1 is Conference.
Okay. I'm
Step
with
2,
you.
Conference North. He says, the gap between the middle of step 2, so the middle of the Conference North, and San Marino is approximately the same as the gap between step 2 and the Championship.
Right.
5 levels. So he's saying they're basically a step 7 team. Do you know what step 7 is? Duckingfield.
I mean, you played Duckingfield.
Yes.
Play Duckingfield.
Me and the boy Wonder over there.
We
on
commentated on it.
commentary duties.
And the commentary got lost, unfortunately, but it was a great commentary.
That's still the low point of my career now. Gold, Stephen. Gold.
So they're not
Lost
that good.
forever. Well,
I mean, it sounds...
stranger things have happened actually than you playing a friendly against San Marino. So watch this
you going to
space.
San Marino reminds me of the time that guy was that random tennis player who was ranked like 130th in the world, played Serena Williams drunk. That and won.
Really?
Yeah, there's the whole story. Like he basically said he could be. It was the whole women's tennis versus men's tennis debate. And
Clarence says, what if you lost? Well, I'll just say they're international footballers.
I think he said yeah.
Is that Juno? Juho 999 1999?
Welcome to the membership.
Yep. Thank you. Luke Eborn says, Steve, do you think Brandon should have been in the under-21s? It's a good question.
We was having a chat about him today, weren't we? And there's probably multiple facets and factors of what's going on with him. He probably should have played more for United to be considered for the 21s. 21s is pretty stacked for England at the moment.
It is.
But isn't Ryan Sessegnon playing for him? Oh, he's been at Hoffenheim actually.
Yeah.
So,
Jamie Burton as well is in the super chat. He says, you can fit the San Marino population twice over into Old Trafford plus 30 Vaticans. I like that measurement. 30 Vaticans. England Soccer Aid team would beat San Marino. Nations League is such a good thing for small nations to improve.
So that's it. So they wasn't Nations League, I don't think, but they've only won 1 game in their history, but they've started scoring goals.
This is how bad it was last night with you lot going on. I actually ended up looking at a bit of San Marino history to see if there was any. And like their best results have been like, I think they beat Liechtenstein once or.
That's the only game
Yeah,
they've ever won.
yeah.
So they're literally the worst team. Like, they're literally the FIFA ranked worst team. And they're. Every article that you go on, it's like, and they're even below Bhutan and Anguilla. And I go, I don't know where either of them places are.
You know what the mad thing is as well, that they broke the record, didn't they, for the fastest ever goal in World Cup qualifying history against England.
Yeah, and they lost 7-1.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks to Stuart Pearce. Typical. Say, Ian Hamilton says, Stephen, what are your weekend fight picks for White versus Povetkin 2 and Miocic versus Ngannou? I'm probably getting that wrong. Do you think there'll be 2 KOs?
I'm less of a boxing guy. I think Miocic and Ngannou goes grapple fest for Miocic and he ends up getting a decision.
Fair enough. Here's one for you. Dave Hanley, when's Howson, that's you, going to admit Shaw's playing a blinder, and will this message trigger him?
No, do you know what triggers me? Fucking idiots who don't listen to what I say.
That's kind of saying you get triggered. Yeah. So I think we've covered that one.
Yeah.
They've only ever gone 2 games unbeaten once in their history, and that was a win against Liechtenstein and a draw against Gibraltar.
Get into these
Liechtenstein, I think they've got a population of 38,000, which is what I was sort of alluding
It
to
worries me
last
that
night.
you know that.
They've got the same sort of population as Urmston or Stretford.
I think.
And so it got to the point in our
Urmston
group
meant
chat
to
last
take
night.
him.
Like, think about it. If Manchester had a national team, in which case, let me know in the comments, what would Manchester's national anthem be?
We had that question in the morning. Oh, Peter Kelly
interesting.
says England have played San Marino 7 times with an aggregate of 42-1, and their best result versus England is a 5-0 defeat. Wish Ireland could play them.
It's a waste of time playing them.
Gary Lineker was
It's a
saying
free
this.
cap.
He said you need like some sort of structured system where the smaller clubs or teams go into a pot with each other because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing if you see like players like they say, oh, Kane's wants to break the record for the goal scoring, wants to break Rooney's record for goal scoring for England. He desperately wants to play against San Marino, and I was like, if I was a player and I was like, I have the goal scoring record, that's fair enough. But if I would never get the goal scoring record, I can see Steve looking at me like that. But
I've seen you play.
He has seen me play football, but. Would you want to be like?
not seen you.
Would you want
I've heard about it.
your entire like history to be like?
You've seen
Here's the
when,
asterisks.
Like, deer get born.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine one of them trying to play football. Go on.
I don't think it's that bad, but anyway,
We'll
if you always have the
listen.
asterisks of
Prove him wrong.
Scored 7 against San Marino. I want to take the penalties.
Well, to be honest with you, though, loads of international goals are like that. Friendlies and dross.
If you look at Bobby Charlton's record, it's a lot of that in there.
No, Stephen. Every single goal is literally a World
okay.
Cup semi-final.
Fair play.
Carl Hagen says, lads, if you were to put all your eggs in one basket, this summer, who would you buy? Sancho or Haaland? For me, it's Haaland. And his 30 goals per season.
Listen, we're not getting Haaland or Sancho.
Can I just start, we have like quite a lot of newses to get through over the next few months.
All right. For Jay's sanity and for him doing the news outside Old Trafford, there's a chance we might sign Sancho. However, I also played the Euro Millions.
Yeah.
And the
1 in a million or 1 in 40 million, it's still a chance, all right?
Yeah. One of the most recent jackpots for that was 180 million, which is apparently what they're asking for Haaland. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Nishant Parek says United and City have spent 680 million and 730 million respectively on their current squad. We are not far behind in spending, so why are we not winning trophies?
There's a lot spend on the actual players in the squad.
There's a lot. When you scratch beneath the surface, that's not that accurate.
And if you put it in the caveat of United spent that much on 3 rebuilds of your start. Well, Moyes wasn't really much of a rebuild, but your Van Gaal rebuild.
I think in the decade or something, since like 2010, they've spent like $1 billion more.
Yeah, it's when you get it down to 5 years, and also Pep gets to a team that's got Sterling, De Bruyne, Aguero, Silva. I think Company was still there and still was played some important games for him. So he had that there already. Yeah. He had a great span.
Whereas ours,
what's all he come into really? He's got Sanchez, who's a waste of space.
No, and you're talking about. I mean, I don't want to get in all the spending, blah blah blah. But apparently I'm a fraud. Thanks. But we lost Lukaku. When you look at the first team players that have just been drained out of our team, like Lukaku's going absolutely killed it in Italy. And we just lost that. City haven't lost a player of that ability. No. Everyone who's left them's left on City's terms.
Yeah.
Who's been prized out of City or who's been useful and left, really?
I mean, the only one
you
can only say Sane and maybe David Silva, obviously aged out, was still doing a role there. But the fact
I don't think Pep likes Sane.
But with David Silva though, they had Bernardo Silva, and now they've got Gundogan, who they're actually playing further forward and is proving what he had back in Dortmund.
Do you know what? You make a good point. I can't even think of anyone in the recent era.
I was just
actually left there who they didn't want to leave.
The fact is that when Pep went into City, he had a lot of players who were just very good players. Like Sterling could play a lot of different systems. De Bruyne could play a lot of different systems. Company and everything could fit in. United's rebuilds have all been around managers who are very much... They bought system players. So like Daley Blind was a very good utility player, but I would have said he was a very much a system player that Van Gaal had.
And then Marino came in when laters.
You're not a physical enough player. You've not got the speed. You've not got the power that I want in a defender or a CDM.
We've lurched from one style of play to another, and for Ollie to be really given, what's going on here? United have just tweeted about Ronaldo. I bet the comments underneath that are AIDS.
Young King. Netflix, The Last Dance with Ronaldo.
That'd be good. Jesus. Anyway, so we've gone from one system to another. Ollie's not actually spent that much in the grand scheme of things. United have had forget about how much the players have cost us. Why is my wife in here again?
Keeping
I love it when your missus gets involved in the chat.
So, what we having for tea?
Mine was, I didn't know. We didn't know where it was like, can you answer your phone? I've not got my keys or something.
When you look at how many first team players he's got, like I had Newcastle fans. Newcastle fans have gone in on Rio hardcore this week.
Oh yeah. What do you? I'm not right. I think you know him well enough that you can be honest. Where do you stand on that? Just give a bit of context and then
Right.
where
So
do you
Rio,
stand on it?
I was in that conversation when
Right.
he said Newcastle fans round your money up and buy the club. I thought it was a throwaway comment. I don't think it was like a call to arms to go and buy the club. I didn't even respond to him. I was carrying on with whatever we was talking about. But the Newcastle media and even TalkSport ended up having a debate on that today.
TalkSport, to be fair, would debate.
Here's the problem:
anything.
when you take any throwaway line out of anything, and then like it's a bad read.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, without like the real, because you don't get the nuance and the tone in print.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you don't get that. So you can say,
mean,
I'll
yeah.
tell you what, Newcastle fans should just put the money together and get, like.
I know, and then was it?
I'm not saying
Steve,
he said it like that, but you get
whatever
what I
it
mean.
was that was going on the radio this morning. Like, people in Newcastle, they're saving all their money to get that season ticket to go watch them. They haven't got the extra capital to buy a football club, and you're like, do you actually think that's what he fucking meant?
I think there's a couple of things in that. For starters, and I've not got any affiliation with Newcastle whatsoever. In fact, I've had some dramas with Newcastle fans in the past, but I get why they're upset because I know what it's like when you've got an owner that you can't stand and you see him wrecking your club, and you get very annoyed and angry if anyone sort of brings it up or seems to defend them or whatever, which it can get construed like that. But I think you have to sort of use common sense for that and say he's not physically saying go out and buy the club. He's just saying, like you say, a throwaway remark. If you don't like it, go and do something about it. But
I was more asked about the
sympathise
Steve
with him.
Bruce thing.
I do sympathise with Newcastle fans though, because people say this to United fans like, why don't you do something about it? Well, we've tried.
Yeah.
We've tried. Do you know what I mean? People are not just tweets before Twitter was a thing, physically trying to do something. And unless you've got a spare, what is it now, 2-3 billion in the bank, there's not much.
How much
you
would
can do.
Newcastle cost? 300-400 million?
Yeah,
I'd a bit on top.
So
in my ear, I've just heard that Ashley values it at 300 mil.
that's so much cash.
Who's got that nowadays?
Yeah. Who's got that? So I don't necessarily. I certainly wouldn't, abide by. I mean, I was literally arguing with him about the Glazers on there. He said the same thing about Glazers as he did about Newcastle.
What?
Sort of. Well, they've put money in, it's just been spent wrong. I think.
I mean, I feel like the whole.
Apart from the technicality that they've not actually put a single penny in.
Well, I was about to say,
I feel like the argument with the Newcastle thing is when people try and say Mike Ashley didn't put money in, he's like, but he spent 40 million on Joe Linton, and then you like, but look at Joe Linton. It's like there was obviously a fundamental breakdown of not knowing how to spend that money then.
But also, I think I had a look at it, and I might get these numbers wrong, but I think Steve Bruce has had 4 or 5 players, and Rafa Benitez had 22.
Rafa Benitez can do no wrong. And listen,
and I don't get that.
Yeah, Steve Bruce's record ain't great. I think he's won 2 out of the last 18 or something. Might be worse than that. So I understand why you're looking at the manager going, this isn't working. We're sinking like a stone or whatever. We're probably gonna get relegated. The football's terrible. He's changing like 7 or 8 players a game, which sort of stinks of a manager who's panicking, don't know what he's doing. But the sort of caveat to that is, has he been back properly? Have you got a squad where you think this is a squad that's going to challenge or get us up the table? And when I look at the Newcastle team, I know they brought in Callum Wilson and one or two others, but it's still a
Callum Wilson's been injured.
It's a weak squad to me, that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a squad where you go, well, that's it, we're relegated, but I'd look at that and go, they're going to be fighting against it, which is what they are doing.
There's 100% different chances, different points in the season where Callum Wilson would have probably saved them or got him a point or got him an extra 3 points in sort of scenarios. But the fact is he got injured. And I feel like that was the big statement signing of this summer. This will be your 15-goal season striker who will help you
but
prop
they don't
up.
have everything else underneath that.
But they don't have anything else underneath it. And then he got injured. So, the fact is there's no one propping it up. Joe Linton's useless. Alan Saint-Maximin also got injured, who's their only creative outlet, and it just kind of fell apart at the seams for him.
I'm just going to get through some super chats. We've got a few of them and I want to pile up. Shark Bay Uara says United need 3 first teamers and some quality backup. We'll sign 3 backup as first team inverted commas because of our head. 6th place next season with Ollie sacked. I hope you're wrong. Samuel says, is there anything like freezing your nips off in the Stretford end, gasping for breath because you've been up 12 flights of stairs? This is the one. Up the fucking Reds. Tom
Get the lift, mate.
Yeah, well, I've been up the top of the Stretford. I don't usually stand right at the top, but I've been up there a few times. Good to get your steps in. Tom Baxter says, enjoying a brew, great as always. Steve, you mentioned recently doing a United economics video since the Glazer takeover. Where's that at? That's a good question, Tom Baxter.
I ain't done it yet.
Well, you can sort it out.
Oh, yeah, because I've just been twiddling my fucking thumb.
Yeah, you don't want your life story, he wants your video. Jamie Burton says, win fees at 200 million, clubs should buy... Oh, sorry, with fees at 200 mil, clubs should buy other clubs.
I mean, there's supposed to be rules in place, so you can't do that. But then there's
unless you're Manchester City, where you can own lots of clubs, sell one, buy Frank Lampard for one club, and then decide actually we'll give him to another one instead. Yeah, it's beneficial.
I mean, it was like I think it was Aaron Moy. Corruption. They got him from Melbourne City. They got him they transferred him to City on a free, and then sold him to Huddersfield for 15 million, which was more than they bought the club for. Which then they basically paid for it on a free, and the fact is, then obviously the Melbourne said, well, okay, because you're filtering money anyway. The fact is, I think it's a competitive thing that they can't now compete with each other, because obviously there was the whole big thing between RB Salzburg and RB Leipzig, and I think they got rid of Salzburg. I can't remember exactly what one. It's Red Bull Salzburg, but it's not Red Bull Leipzig. It's Rasenballsport Leipzig. That's a little tidbit of factoid for you, because
that's
they can't.
The German rules.
They can't legally call it. Yeah,
they have Bayer Leverkusen. And Wolfsburg's basically the Volkswagen team. The thing on buying clubs because of the price of players. Yeah, I said this when Mbappe and Neymar went to Paris Saint-Germain. I said, at what point do you go, I ain't doing that? At what point do clubs just go, that's mental? Like you're looking to it. All right, you want to assemble a team in that sort of range. You're looking at what, 2.5, 3 billion to assemble them on fees alone, not including wages. Wages will probably double that. This is insane. This is literally insane.
Yeah,
it's not sustainable. And when you look at how someone like Athletic Bilbao have been able to compete by having like only players with this silly little Spanish accent can play it, like. The fact that there's a million different ways to be competitive at different areas, that tells me that if Athletic Bilbao can survive, not only survive, but they've been in the Champions League, which is insane, considering the self-imposed restrictions that they have. There's got to be other ways to do this. There's got to be other clubs like... I said this to Rio actually the other day, like, why aren't clubs, and I think this was in the middle of the conversation about Newcastle, why aren't clubs like Newcastle going, no, instead of spending 40 million on Joe Linton, let's spend 40 million on our academy. Let's make sure, like, and, Rio mentioned that every kid in Newcastle and the surrounding areas should be on the radar of
I get that argument, but sort of the flip side to that is that's obviously a little bit more long term. And if they do that, say like, for Joe Linton's probably a bad example because he's terrible. But if they take that 40 million, if they set fire to that 40 million, you'd probably get more value from him than what they got put it in him, to be honest with you. But if they do that, like what you say, which I understand, but that's going to take 3 or 4 years to get any sort of fruition out of that. Then
that's
they get relegated. And it's like,
but the fact is,
they could go under.
Newcastle,
if they got relegated and things don't work out, there's always the I know it might seem like a slim one, but we've seen big clubs go into real
this
trouble.
Like spending good money chasing after bad to try and compete, constant short term, where actually if you go drop down, and then imagine coming back up, imagine a connection to the fans with a homegrown.
Oh, you know what you've been saying, Jay. The Geordies are absolutely crazy for homegrown players. They love him, and I get that. I just feel like I can understand why that's a sort of almost a gamble or a long-term plan that some clubs can't afford to do because the money's so big in the Premier League, and because if they get relegated, there's always that danger. If you get relegated and you don't bounce back up within a sort of few years, your club as an institution is in real trouble.
And then you also have the problem that your good players that you now have go, and the players that are good in your academy then go. Like the fact is, Jude Bellingham.
You have to get minutes they're not.
But like they could say Birmingham. Birmingham are probably the perfect example of
this.
They
cashed in on him hardcore, but that's what
Jude Bellingham and then also Che Adams
of them
as well.
Players
They brought through.
If you're getting good players coming through. Like if I'm a player in the North East and anywhere from Hartlepool to Middlesbrough to Newcastle to even like the lower corner of Scotland, and I've got 10 clubs that come in for me, and one of them's Newcastle, and they go, you know what we do? 17, 18, you get first team minutes. If you're good enough, you stick around.
Yeah.
Right? You go, or play on the 23s football at fucking Middlesbrough. It's an easy decision. And then them kids start getting them opportunities, and they start being given thingies, and their price and value increases. And then you move them on like Jude Bellingham if you need to, and you keep it going. It's a risk.
Yeah.
But so is trying to fucking sign Joe Linton and think that it's going to work out for you.
That's in a big risk. Again, we've got quite a few super chats. Appreciate all your support, by the way, all the people getting involved in the super chat. Christian Shea says, speaking of RB Leipzig, United should look at getting Tyler Adams, CDM, instead of getting robbed for Rice. Has top flight / Champions League experience.
I always feel
Tyler Adams, yes or no?
I always feel like it's a weird one when you talk about American players. They have such a weird,
and that is the most American name I've ever seen in my life. I don't know anything about him.
They have such a weird amount of hype around
Tyler
them.
Adams,
like Pulisic, Giovanni Reina, like Tyler Adams. Like every single one of them gets such a weird amount of hype. I think he's a decent player, but I feel like there's different players at Leipzig who are better than him. Like if you were to say to Konrad Lehmer, who plays for Leipzig in this DM role, he's probably much better than Tyler Adams and would be available for this around the same price as him, because obviously Tyler Adams would add in the American fee, which is why Pulisic costs so much, because his shirt sales in America would be through the roof.
Good point. Callum Moorhead says, who is realistic signing for the striker position? Personally, can't see us getting Haaland. Love the content.
Danny Ings on a free.
Yeah. Abdullah Ibrahim says, agree with Steve on the fact that football finances are becoming unsustainable. What are your thoughts on UEFA potentially bidding FFP? I think to bin summer, it's got to have existed in the first place. That's my only problem with that FFP, is it was never a thing.
It was just like it was an empty threat. It was like, you're going to break for FFP.
And then if you break FFP, we're going to punish you. Well, we've broke it. All right, then we won't punish you.
Here's a £10 million fine, but
we're worth billions. Yeah. Ian Hamilton, I like this one. Sorry, but it just makes me laugh. Have no sympathy from Newcastle fans. Grown up around the morons, and they deserve what they get. We've had Glazers longer, and don't ask for violins like they do. He's not pulling any punches there, old Ian.
I got no sympathy for him.
Yeah,
I got no sympathy for the way a lot of the clubs are run at all.
Yeah,
a lot of clubs I think are just run ridiculously.
They are, and whilst I can look at it and go, I do have a little bit of sympathy, being brutally honest, because I'm like, I know how angry it can make you, how frustrating it is when you've got owners like that, but I don't think they show as much.
What
sympathy.
the fuck do you stand for, right? As a club, what are you going to stand for? If you're Newcastle, what are you standing for? Couple of seasons in the you're not winning it.
Yeah.
Get out of your fucking head.
Yeah.
You're not getting in the Champions League. Get out of your fucking head.
I see what you mean, because if you think, right, okay, we are about our academy. We're commandeering the North East. That's us. You're getting in that team if you're good enough. It's all about scouting network. We're doing a Fergie. And
look at some of the mega players that have come through the North East. They don't usually play for Newcastle. That's a failing. How's Michael Carrick at West Ham? How's Shearer at fucking Southampton?
Was it Hugo we got from Sunderland? Yeah. So, yeah. That's
was Carrick
like
Newcastle
what was
Academy?
the last good player that came through there?
Shearer
like Andy Carroll.
Milner, probably.
Is he from Newcastle?
He went to Newcastle.
Ross Murphy says, remember, we were linked with Longstaff for 50 million.
See, all right. I mean, as banter as that is, there's your proof that you spend some money in your academy, you bring them players into your first team, and even if they're shit and ginger, you might get 50 mil for them.
I think the case of that was we offered them 9. Steve Bruce said he's worth 50, and we went no.
So Syrian Bala says, hope all you lads are doing well. Absolutely enjoy all the content.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I'm fucking sick of it.
Keep up the great work. Got any plans to discuss what positions and player styles you lads think we need to specifically address? Yes, we have got a series that's out, top 5s, where we look at all the positions. I did one on defenders. Mac has done one on midfielders. Stephen Howson doesn't know it yet.
Is Milner from Newcastle?
He came from Leeds.
No, but is he from Newcastle?
No, he's a Yorkshireman. Have you not heard him speak?
No.
He's proper throwing stones at a moon tackle.
Is he?
Yeah, big time.
I think he was at Leeds, then he went Newcastle.
Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Then he went Villa.
Ecky thump.
We got on that today, that Yorkshire's got a national team.
I'm sorry, I've got loads of people. What are you saying there, Camille? Wortley Leeds, if anyone cares. Peter Kelly says, in Gaelic football, the clubs are made up of players from the area. The fans are future and past players. It's all community and tribal. It's fantastic.
But the 6.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not advocating that because then we'd have no David Beckham or George Best or people like that. But it's a nice ethos if you want to encourage local people to get involved.
You should have You should have every single there should have been Premier League rules. Like you don't get see all this TV money. You don't get it unless you fulfil some criteria in terms of bringing for your own academy. Because the FA could package it as like being good for the future of England.
I do think the academy system needs to be looked at because
Shola Shortire, he's a Geordie, correct?
Yes, well spotted.
So you now got more fucking Geordies than Newcastle.
Exactly. Because it is a flawed, isn't it, the academy system?
What would make it carry like?
There's just peak clubs throwing money at that, but not in the right way. You're talking about developing players. Just who's the best young player? And we've been guilty of it, I'm not going to lie. Right, let's throw them.
So United, 5 years ago when Nicky Butt, remember him, was...
don't get me started on that.
Was head of the academy. He gave a presentation to a lot of parents who then told me what was said. And in that it was... United are gonna, and to be fair, they've done it. Especially when you look at like the two Spanish lads that I can't remember the names of that we signed this summer.
Garnacho and Fernandez.
There we go.
Beat me to it.
They said we were gonna. What we're gonna do is we're gonna scour the world for absolute world class wonder kids, and we're gonna blend them in with the very best players from in and around Greater Manchester, and that's what we're gonna make for our academy, and that's what they do.
That's like almost. Other than the fact from around the world, but that's almost like Busby did, isn't it? Like from around the country, getting the best players.
I mean, what Duncan Edwards from
Dudley.
You've got from the northeast, Ashington.
Yeah.
Bobby Charlton, obviously George Best from Northern Ireland, but even like Bill Folkes, wasn't he like a minor somewhere?
Yeah,
like,
it's mad. But like that's what I mean. It's
but
that
then there was a
mix.
handful of like Colliers and Crumpsall and
Just like you knobby
And not a Hannibal Majid.
You're Brian Kids of this world.
But that's picking a lad up from a 16-year-old lad up from Holland now is probably less mental than picking George Best up in '62.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's part of the course, isn't it? And we've done it a few times. RJ, I think it is, in the super chat says, doubt you'd have not attended, but did you go at the 4-3 Manchester Derby back in 2009? Best match day I have attended.
Broke the seat in front of me.
Wife, Shagger to Scouse icon. Yeah. One of the greatest games ever, but still not my favourite Manchester Derby.
Ali Mack says, what happened with Nicky Butt leaving the club? Not heard the full story yet. Laurie Whitwell did something in The Athletic on it, which he kind of seen his arse with being overlooked for the job that John Murtagh took.
Was it right? You can clarify this for me now. Was he seeing his ass because of the job that John Murtagh took, or was it the one that Darren Fletcher took, or was it a bit of both?
And I don't think he likes Murtagh. I don't think he likes.
Are you concerned about this?
I saw the phrase chalk and cheese.
I said again, it's another video that's on the boil for me, but I haven't had a chance to finish yet. And Laurie putting this piece out as kind of took the legs out of the article.
We're getting Laurie on, by the way, soon. That's just what
we just got away from it with an haircut, and we're not joking. That's the reason we're waiting.
Well, I'm glad you said that on camera. Nice one.
No problem. But the story that he did has kind of like took the wind out of the sails of like some of the research I was doing. I messaged him saying, "You slag." I was literally doing the same thing. I was going around. Like I'd spoke to a lot of the ex-academy players that have moved on and gone elsewhere because they usually will tell you the truth rather than the ones that are still at the club who just pretend everything's fine.
That's understandable.
And they don't like him.
Did you know? So this idea that he's Bezzies with them all is a load of bollocks.
Bit of spin.
I've said, I mean, I'm not. We'll see what happens with this.
Yeah.
It's almost meaningless to me. We've appointed this guy that was kind of doing this job anyway to do it officially. Right, okay. I think we'll see. If we don't sign anyone big in the summer and we finish 6th next season, then I reckon he'll get sacked.
Yeah.
I thought Celtic might be wanting him to join Keane as an assistant. Mate, if Nicky Butt and Roy Keane is your coaching staff,
someone's getting nutted.
Leave.
I'm ringing in sick every day.
That is insane.
Imagine having a bad game and going back into that changing room with them.
Who's the good cop?
Yeah, the good cop's going to chin you. I'm going to break both your legs. No thanks.
I'll wait till the bad cop comes in.
Yeah.
then you for it.
I'm going to bust you for 10 minutes and then the bad cop arrives.
If Nicky Butt wants to go to Celtic and give us Odysson Edouard.
There was talk, I read it on the internet, so it must be true, that maybe Derby County, or is that just people going Man United, Wayne Rooney? Any news?
What about him? Nicky Butt going there?
Exactly.
Well, I thought, my just assumption that I came up with on the spot seeing the news was he's probably going to have something to do with what's going on at Salford, considering he's like an owner. But it obviously emerged that, actually he's pretty much seen his ass with what's gone on. He thought he was in line for that role. He literally kind of did that role for the academy. Now he's doing a first team development role. It felt like a progression that was being walked along, and John Mertz just come and took his job.
Oh God! Someone just said, imagine if Scott Brown became a coach after he retired with Roy Keane as manager, and I was like, oh my God!
Scott Brown's gone to Aberdeen.
Someone's going to die.
He's gone to Aberdeen as a coach, as a play coach. Syrian Bala, sorry, my eyesight is shocking. Steve, have you had a chance to ask Rio who he reckons could be a good buy at centre back? I know he likes Godfrey, but that's easily 70 million. Haha. Any others? You spoke about him, haven't you, to him?
Yeah, Godfrey.
Yeah, you quite like Godfrey, don't you?
I do like Godfrey.
I know the Toffees do. I spoke to a few of their fans and they're like raving about him.
Yeah, he seems all right. We had him on the podcast a month ago or something like that. Yeah, we had him in Aldgate on at the same time. It was good.
That's cool.
Yeah, he seems sound.
Yeah, he's really surprised me because obviously, like when he was at Norwich, he didn't like that back line could defend anything, to be honest. But
well, again, Norwich have pulled out a few gems. With Campbell, with Aarons,
I'd take Aarons.
With Godfrey. There's three
I
players
would
in a
take
relegated Norwich Championship team that would have improved Manchester United. And this is what annoys me is you fucking dreamers in the comments talking about Haaland and Sancho and Varane, right? That's £500 million worth of players probably, right? You're not fucking getting that. We didn't sign Godfrey when he was up for 12 million from Norwich. Now, if you'd have gone and picked up Cantwell, Aarons, and Godfrey, you'd probably got the free for 50 mil.
Yeah, I can't see it. I think it's
Buendia.
Well, says Scott Brown would get flattened the shit house.
Buendia would have been still a good pickup, even though he's still. I don't understand.
This is
why
it. Like you literally can go not just to the bottom half of the Premier League, but into the Championship and improve Manchester United.
Historically, we've always done that sort of bottom half, got those gems, not just the 30 million for Wayne Rooney or whatever, but like, just getting like your Dennis Irwins, your Steve Bruces, your Chris Smallings, your Van der Sars.
Some guy tweeted me and was like, buying Premier League players again, fucking Brexit FC. And I was like, yeah, because Edwin van der Sar and Rio Ferdinand and Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
And
we've always done that.
They were shit and didn't work.
Yeah, we've always done that.
I feel like
that's what we've done.
The difficulties come now because obviously you get to those players who are really good in the bottom half of the Premier League, and it's kind of like you Grim Reaper in it. It's like, go on, get relegated, so you'll give us them cheap.
Well, that was the game with Grealish.
Yeah.
We supposedly agreed a fee with Villa. Like, if they go down, we can have Grealish, and it's going to be 40 mil. But the gamble was, if we stay up, it's 80, and they stayed up. And we didn't want to pay 80.
And it was the same with Zaha and Arsenal, because Zaha they wanted 70 million for him. Like, Zaha is never. It's been happened a couple of times because Sigurdsson with Swansea. Sigurdsson's never a £50 million player.
He's like the example in it. Everyone uses 50 million for Gylfi Sigurdsson.
But the fact is, he was worth 50 million to Swansea because he was the only reason they were staying in the Prem.
Case, read that bottom. Super chat and answer.
Razmich has said Jonathan David as a Haaland alternative. Yeah, the Lille striker. He's been very good. He's very good linking up, and he's in the Europa in the early stages. He was playing really well. Obviously, Lille got knocked out. A couple of players from Lille that actually look really good. Renato Sanchez has really come into his own at Lille. He looks like a fantastic.
Casey made a decision on him 2 years ago. Don't expect me to change it.
Okay.
Steve doesn't change his mind.
But yeah, there's quite a few players at Lille. But yeah, Renato Sanchez, but Jonathan David looks like a very good player.
What I say?
I'm talking about Jonathan David.
Yeah, so you mentioned him still.
Okay, it's fine.
Now Sanchez.
So
shit.
Yeah.
I said that. We're not going back on that.
There's quite a few players.
They fucking dig up old shit.
Nothing can ever.
There's quite a lot of strikers.
There's
Quite a lot of strikers around like a 30 million mark that probably will be available that look as good. But the fact is that whoever gets Haaland it's just not going to be fun for everyone else. That's the situation that we're in. We've got Andre Silva, who's had a really good season in Germany. He had that really one-up.
He's fucking killed it, and he got the same amount of goals as Haaland.
I think he's got 21 in 24 games. And then there's got the other seasons before. The only really had one dud season at AC Milan, which was like 2 goals in 17 Serie A appearances. But then he also did well in Europa League, so it kind of balanced itself out. He looks good. There's Alexander Isaac who looks good. There's kind of your other such strikers. I mean, like we say Danny Ings as a joke. But Danny Ings is not bad.
No, I'd be happy with Danny Ings, but the perception of chasing Haaland, us standing outside Old Trafford, 75 fucking times between now and the window closing, going Haaland, right?
We spelled Haaland slightly wrong.
And then
That's a pretty
signing
good
Danny
impression, though.
fucking Ings on the last day of the bastard window is going to make me break all the furniture somewhere, right? If they went, hey, we're getting Danny Ings, I'd be like, that's a good signing. But when you honey dick me for the entire summer and you're like, Haaland, Sancho, Varane, right? And then you get me Danny Ings, you can fuck off, Casey.
Luke H.
Me personally.
says, every United fan wants Haaland and Sancho and Varane. What we will get is Calvert-Lewin for 200 million, no centre-half, and Palestri back from loan, Glazer, Nomics. I don't think we'll get Calvert-Lewin. Ross Murphy says, remember when Renato Sanchez passed it to the Carabao Cup logo? I do, because he thought that was one of his Swansea teammates. Adam McCall's in the chat as well. I am Maccaw. He's got a show coming up later on as well this evening. Yeah, it's going to be an horrible summer. It is. I think we've got to sort of face facts here. I'm hoping we get one marquee signing.
Yeah.
I'm hoping one.
Yeah.
Like,
This is why we play the Euro Millions.
yeah.
A midfielder.
When I say hope.
I mean, it's going to be
No,
people
more
say
than
striker,
expectation,
people say
hope.
right
Listen,
winger. I'd like a midfielder.
Doesn't affect you, but Stevenson Square is going to be lit. So that's my salvation.
Right, okay.
I am going to be fucking double twisted more times than is sensible to be.
Right, good.
If Saúl
Have one
Ñíguez
for
signs for Manchester United, Steve's going to be up and down Stevenson Square. It's going to be like a bleep
I
test.
might do something stupid. If
Two
we
beers in
sign-
hand, bleep test, up and down Stevenson Square.
If we sign Saúl Ñíguez, I will do all of those, like we do, like it's usually like a scout report, the official confirmation, then once we get like the press conference, I'll do all of them drunk. And do you know what? He's going to be shit, Jay.
I don't want to insult you here, Steve, but probably better when you're 11.
We've had some good shows.
Just
when I've
saying
been drunk,
that, you know what I mean, mate?
But
Just,
I guarantee, because it's just someone I've wanted for so fucking long,
yeah.
it'll be wank.
and Steve, yeah. Steve won't actually add anything to
And
any of
it'll be
those.
my fault.
Yeah, you'll
That's how it
get
works.
you'll get what I get
I'll be like, oh!
with Danny Welbeck. Everyone will be like, yeah, your boy's doing well again, innit?
Do you know when Ashley Young used to play for us? Remember that?
Vaguely.
Vaguely.
So the lads around me in the
I know you
Stretford
loved
end
him.
might have, they might have known for my love of Ashley Young. All I'd have to do is the following, right? So I don't turn round. Watching the game, let's give me an Ashley Young's just done something bad.
Why is he going for that?
Just a little look on my shoulder.
Yeah. That was the opposite of what I used to get with Danny Welbeck.
See-
remember when he missed his penalty at Sunderland? Against Sunderland in the Carabao Cup, whatever it was at them, and like literally lads that turned around, stand around me, just turned them in and went. I was like,
It's yours.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. See, the thing is those scout reports with Steve, he's drunk, will just be like us talking, and we'll stay and he'll just go to the mic and so, Saúl Ñíguez, and then back up and take a shot.
Samuel says,
I'll do a
zip,
shot for every million that we spend on him.
zip to August, probs get Rice for 100 mil on deadline day after bartering for 2 months. Januzaj and Ivan Toney. Peter Kelly says Saúl Ñíguez for the Gea swap. Discuss that. Is that a thing? Is that an option? Can that happen?
Why? They've got the best goalkeeper in the world. Do you want someone to polish his fucking boots?
Is he going to stay there, do you think?
I don't see why he wouldn't.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, like, people have been saying that there's Marcus, I mean, a couple of people in the comments have been saying it. Marcus Llorente has been linked as well, who's kind of, we've said this is the difference with Saúl Ñíguez.
Adam McCullough says they can give us Haaland and money for Martial.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
On the Llorente thing,
Yeah.
so Llorente is, Atletico went, we don't want to sell him. And the player went, yeah, and I don't want to go to United. United are like, we're monitoring the situation.
Well, that is it. That is us, isn't it? That is us. That sentence just sums
Well, like,
us
yeah.
up. We're monitoring the situation.
The Saúl Ñíguez
Do you know
thing
what I
is
mean?
like, but he's fallen off. He's gone out the thing. Marcus Llorente is now playing the Saúl Ñíguez role. He's literally played in the exact positions that Saúl Ñíguez usually does. Even played in strike, which I never understand. He's a defensive midfielder, and they're like, yeah, up front.
That is the most pointless thing ever, isn't it? That we're monitoring the situation.
Isaac Lansley in the comments, the super chat. Thank you very much, brother. Steve, Ray and Nephew's overproof. Is it worth a buy? Now, I was given this as a gift. I've opened it to smell it. It's brutal. It's petrol.
Cameron Meir says it's disgusting.
If Paddock win the cup, we're finishing that bottle.
I'm not going to even go for the obvious one. Right, fair enough.
So I don't know, but everyone, it's mostly Jamaican friends as well. Of like when they've seen it, and because we got it in the bar upstairs, people have gone, "Fucking hell, it's dangerous that," and you're like,
I'm out.
"It's not a fucking Siberian tiger. What are you talking about?"
Can we put it somewhere away
Could
from
I fuel my car?
Away from him. McCall's in the chat as well. He's got his Max house at 8 o'clock. Don't make sure you check it out on this channel. He'll be having a few guests on there for a new show that's live. So if you win the cup, you're getting on it, and then you're doing a video for us about all the signings that we're going to make.
So a bottle's involved either way.
yeah. That's some good members videos actually with you, Levered.
Have I?
Did
Do
we
you
do?
remember?
We did the. No, hang on. Where did we put that video? The Tottenham preview.
Oh, it went on my Patreon.
Oh, right. Is that what it was?
Put it in members if you want it. Members, if you're a member in a group, if we get 50 of you to say yes now, we'll put it in there as well.
Yeah, it's one of the best. It was the mad because we did a preview after the last game. So he went through 2 bottles of rum, and then the next day or next week was like, lads, we went through 2 bottles. Even I was like, no, you went through 2 bottles. I don't drink, and Maka was driving. So it's literally just you.
I had a good night, I think.
So then after the game finished, he literally, I think it was when Pereira scored or whatever, he went, we scored? I was like, yeah, we scored 4. He's like, all right.
I just remember in the Stretford Paddock chat, there was just messages going off from maybe Janinu saying, "Just someone take it off him."
Yeah, like, no, that's not physically possible. So we did the Spurs preview at the end of that, and he was steaming. And then obviously the Spurs game got postponed for 4 months, whatever it was, due to the lockdown. So yeah, we'll put that in the members section. GMCQ, welcome to the first team. Thanks for your support.
Anywhere close.
Isaac Lansley, convince me. 2 bottles it is. So that's another.
So lethal motor fuel is what you need to do.
Another life you've wrecked. I apologise, Isaac.
Sweet.
Sudip Dutta says Pau Torres is faster than Eric. UEL champions? ? I'm guessing he's on about Eric Bailly. Are we gonna win the Europa League?
I actually think that we might.
We could meet him in the final with L'Oreal and Pau Torres.
I actually think that we might.
I think we won't. I think we won't, but I think we can finish second. And then people will get really angry because it's not so well, which I kind of get because you want trophies, don't you? I'd rather finish 4th and win the Europa than finish second and not. We want that.
Trophies.
Trophies, mate. Come on, my son. Get involved in the chat. Let us know what you think.
Seen Ivan Toney mentioned a couple of times. Ivan Toney obviously was at Newcastle, so that's kind of relevant to the earlier point. And then he got loaned out for a load of times. Now he's at Brentford and he's scoring goals left, right, and centre.
Brentford might be in the Premier League this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people might be saying.
Is that not insane to everyone else?
What?
Arsenal then will be the 5th biggest team in London.
What happened? What?
Brentford come in the Premier League.
Is Brentford in London?
Yeah,
Yes.
proper.
Is it?
It's like West London.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Right.
it'd be proper interesting because obviously they've been.
It's one of them places that could be like near Luton or like right in the middle.
They've been betting on the Premier League for the last however many seasons, and it's just been kind of going.
That's all we need,
progressively.
more Cockney teams in the Premier League. This is London in league.
Yeah, but they're all shit.
Bring Oldham back up. Come on.
Yeah, they are all shit, and then they turn up against us.
Who's the worst team that's been in the Premier League?
Ever.
I don't mean like how they performed in the team, but just crap. Is it Oldham?
Oh, that's harsh, that.
Which fuck, you might be right though.
I mean, to be fair, the Derby 09 team. I know you said don't pick off like teams that were.
All right, but as a club, Derby's not a bad club.
Well, what's this? Like the bloody video or no Pepsi Max cherry for Jay? Adam McCullough said, I didn't agree to that, but you're right. Quickly like it.
Swindon's
just
getting
in
hammered
case.
in here a lot.
Swindon's
Swindon's
awful.
a crap town. It's a crap town
Crap
as well.
town. No offence to people from Swindon.
No, fuck them. If you come from Swindon, move.
No, we do appreciate your support. Yeah, they were terrible. Like I thought they were like record lowest points, but apparently they weren't.
What about Bradford?
Oh, that's a good shot.
That's a fucking crap
That's
town, and they were a crap team.
Crap team.
Didn't they have Benito Carboni playing for them?
Yeah, they did.
Why do I know this?
Benito Carboni sounds like a fake gangster in an Italian.
You're not wrong. It also sounds like a dish you'd get at Pizza Express.
I'm sorry to everyone for everything.
But yeah, bollocks. Barnsley.
Barnes. I was thinking Barnsley when you said Bradford.
Barnsley's a horrible accent, you know.
It is, isn't it? Oh, I can't do it, but yeah.
I don't know if that's not about Donny van Beek or Doncaster.
Barnsley.
It's reet thick, Barnsley.
What's that?
Someone put Donny, so I'm not sure. Don Castellona, there we go. Doncaster.
So how much money can we generate from player sales?
I played for Doncaster. We used to train on the wall of a prison.
So on the on
Not a lot.
Talking about
I will
player
answer that
team
question.
standards.
I don't think we'll get a lot from sales. I think we might get a little bit.
Well,
from
Do
some of them.
you
Romero's
want
probably
15
going
mil for
free.
Jesse Lingard?
That's a joke. That's not happening.
15
Notts
mil for
County,
Jesse
just
Lingard.
before the Prem. I do remember when Notts County.
Weren't they in the first one?
I don't think so.
Were they not? Right? Because I was.
But you got like your Coventrys, your Ipswiches, your Oldhams, Swindons. Sounds like who City getting the cup this.
Sounds like David Brent, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Bracknell.
Won't stop putting the first division, yeah. Wigan.
That's nice, isn't it? But Cam's just put on the screen. Wrap up, you've run out of things to talk about. In other words,
Cameron,
you're
listen,
boring me.
We come here with nothing to talk about. And it just happens. It's organic. Read the comments. Walsall, they're not been in the Prem.
No.
Bolton's, yeah.
Like, some of them, like Bolton, Wigan, Blackpool. Blackpool's a dive, you know.
Oh, really? What gives you that?
It's
Experience?
Yeah. I'm sorry if you're in Blackpool, but like what you said about Swindon, just move. I used to be a reporter there, and there's like an ounce of smack for
The
every
thing is,
two people or something. It's
you're
ridiculous.
close to like, the 20th century. Like, just
Yeah.
fucking
Just
drive
drive
a bit.
40 minutes and
or
you're
even
in it.
drive. If you ain't got a car, because
Yeah.
that's probably a rarity still in Blackpool.
Just walk.
Just fucking walk to
Or
St Anne's or
hitchhike.
something. Like,
Yeah.
St Anne's is lovely.
It's like it's grim. It's drug riddled, and then
the lights
you
aren't
just
even
have
that
like
impressive anymore.
the 1830s like crowd who comes to your town at the weekend, shit and piss all over it, and then leave.
Yeah.
So yeah,
mean, I've been one of them
for stag
people.
do's. Yeah, I bet you've been.
Anyone
on a few
from
stag
Black-
do's in Blackpool, haven't you?
Pushed a copper up.
Anyone watching from
Did ya?
Blackpool? We appreciate you.
Did that
as
thing
Jay
where they
used to
put their
say.
hands inside the vest like that?
Yeah, I love all
Pushed
that.
me
like
against the fucking shutter.
that.
Just pushed him back. He fell over. I ran off.
See what I mean?
About 6 stone ago.
White privilege. Right. Right. I think we should.
Charlton!
Charlton. Yeah, dramas in Charlton once. Listen, we appreciate all your support and your chat and your comments. Everyone's been mad busy now. It's great to see. You've been doing videos, haven't you? What have you been doing? What's coming up?
We got one where we've done a bit of a dive into what is Ollie's style of play. Do you know that much asked question?
of play.
Loads of them coming out. I do need to do that Glazer one, and I do need to do the Murta one. The Murta one might have been killed by lorry. Cheers. But the Glazer one's still, it's still relevant.
Yeah. Casey Evans, you've been doing bits on YouTube, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been
Hey,
doing stuff.
scouting reports and all
Scout
that.
reports, yeah, I'm going to try and get back on that. I'm going to do some more. I've got some on Eduardo Camavinga, who's been linked with United. I've got Alexander Isaac, and I've got Ibrahim Konate, who's been linked with United. So if you want to check those out, they're on my channel.
What is your channel?
It's just Casey Evans.
We'll put a link in the description of that. Max House is at 8 o'clock as well. That's live news show, so make sure you're checking that out. And if you're not doing, subscribe to the channel. Come on, where am I looking? Subscribe to the channel. Give us a subscribe. Thank you.
Just put a bar up, though. It's like a charity appeal.
This has been Howson's Brew. That's been Casey Evans. That's been Stephen Howson. I'm Jim Martin. Thanks for watching.